we as leaders in this community are given the task and the responsibility of framing what Billings is going to look like in 5, 10, 50 years. And for downtown, I can't wait to see what happens in another 5 years down here.
The following is a Big Sky Economic Development production.
It's Mars B.
And Kavo.
And this is The Vault at 201 North Broadway.
A business podcast.
Where we bring you entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders of Montana.
To share their stories, expertise, industry insights, and strategies.
And we are sharing them all with you every single week.
You don't want to miss this.
Learn how to better start, manage, and grow your business.
And your leadership style.
Tangible takeaways to save you time and improve whatever it is that you're working on.
You're listening to The Vault.
Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting The Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development provides leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, community development, and workforce development. Learn more at bigsky.economicdevelopment.org.
Today, joining us on The Vault is Katy and Mehmet from Downtown Billings Alliance. Welcome. We are delighted to have you guys with us today.
Excited to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're really excited to talk about all that you guys do at Downtown Billings and how you got there. So maybe let's just to kick it off, dive into how did you guys, where did you come from? Are you from Billings? Tell us a little bit of your background and then how you got to work at the DBA.
Awesome. I can go first.
Sure. Yeah.
So I moved to Billings in 2015. So I've been here for nearly 9 years now. Ooh. And really came up here from Western Colorado, which is really similar to Billings. Grand Junction has a lot of similarities. And so I felt right at home when I first moved to Billings. And when I first started here, I was coming out of kind of what I call my first career, which was construction management. And so I did commercial construction management with my family, had done that for nearly 15 years in Colorado. And when I came up here, I kind of needed a break. And I tell my team this story all the time. I just wanted something that I could go home after 5 p.m. and not think about it for a second.
Yeah. Totally understand that.
So I actually took a job at a local hair salon as their office manager. And it was delightful for about 6 months to just not worry about it. And I got free massages and, so it was really a win.
Good perks.
Yeah.
Good perks. I would have really enjoyed that. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm why didn't I think of that when I had my midlife crisis?
Fully
or mid-career, right?
Yeah.
Crisis.
Yeah, I recommend it highly. If you're going to go and do something different for a while, that's a really good avenue to pursue for a bit. But then I actually took a job with Big Sky Economic Development. So that was really my foray and entrance into Billings, Montana, and all of the things that are happening locally was with Big Sky Economic Development. And it was the perfect primer for all things Billing, all things Yellowstone County, all things regional Montana. And so I really had the opportunity to learn a lot. And then it came up that the Downtown Billings Alliance was hiring for their CEO. It honestly wasn't even a job that I knew existed. And come to find out that it really was my dream job. It was everything that I'd kind of hoped to find and put all of my careers together and find something that really spoke to me. And I feel like I've found my place. So here I am 6.5 years later.
I was just about to ask, how long have you been in that role? 6.5 years. Wow.
Wow. And then even to find Big Sky, I think economic development's kind of all the stuff we do is just unique. And I think sometimes if you're not in this realm, you don't think about how your city and your town grows and who's doing that. You don't think about economic development, which is a lot of the work you guys do. So what about you?
Yeah. So my journey goes back to 2006. I came to Billings in 2006. I was born and raised in Baghdad, Iraq, and finished my bachelor's degree there and came on a Fulbright scholarship at Rocky Mountain College to teach Arabic there. So my gig was supposed to be just for 1 year, but obviously things changed 17 plus years later, and I'm still here. So I held several other hats on the Rocky campus for another 3 years. So I was there for about a total of 4 years. And then I transitioned into MSUB and I was teaching there. So instead, at Rocky, I taught Arabic. At MSUB, I was teaching English as a second language to the international students. So I also transitioned into several other positions there. But while I was there, I finished a master's in public relations at MSUB. And at one point, I was advising all the international students about their major and how they can complete in a timely fashion. Coincidentally, a lot of the international students majored in the College of Business. So I got very intimate and familiar with their program, their faculty, their curriculum, even the companies that they work with to hire interns and students after they graduate. And that intrigued me into the business world. So I started looking in that world. And similar to Katy, I didn't know that position existed. I came across it, started researching the Downtown Billings Alliance, their mission, their vision, what they do. I've been to a lot of the events previously, but I didn't know who was really behind it.
Like Alive at 5 or Live After 5.
Right.
Sorry, I come from Helena. It's Alive at 5 there. Alive After 5. I had no idea. I've been going to it for years, and then I get a job with Big Sky, and I'm like, oh my God, there's an organization that does all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew somebody had to do it, but I had no idea.
Right, yeah. So I was enjoying all these events without necessarily knowing much about the behind the scenes. And so applied to the job. 3 interviews later, I was in the position, and that started in May of 2019. So here we are, 5 years.
Oh, congrats. 5-year anniversary then. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Big celebration.
We were lucky to find him, right? Yeah. We'll have a big party, and 5 years, it's a long time, but it also feels like yesterday that we started together.
Yeah.
And yet here we are, 5 and 6 years later in these positions. And I don't know, I told my family just this last weekend that sometimes it feels like it's taken me this long to figure it all out. And yet there's still things that we're learning
all the time.
Yep.
Every day will present some sort of new challenge, but it's been absolutely a pleasure to have Mehmet kind of by my side with this work. It's so important, and I think that so many people don't know what we do.
Yes.
And we're pretty content to kind of do that behind the scenes, but sometimes it's fun to start talking about some of the cool things that are going on. So
Absolutely. Yes.
And I think that's a beautiful transition to, can you guys talk about Downtown Billings and all of the things that your organization does and the size of your team, and really just get into the details? Because I think, like Kayla said, you don't think about who puts some of these things together, or that structure just happened to be built, right? Like, you don't think about who's doing that and all of the little things that have to come into place for any real project to really get done and across the finish line. So
like just the flowers that hang downtown that are beautiful.
right. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
right. Like, exactly.
Yep.
So we currently have 4 completely separate nonprofit organizations under the umbrella of Downtown Billings, and each of those 4 nonprofits has a completely separate board of directors, a completely separate revenue source and budget, a completely separate work plan that has to either be approved by simply a board of directors or it goes to city council for approval. And each of those 4 organizations do completely different things. There's really a lot of detail that go into it, but we do share the same mission amongst those 4 organizations, that we are here to make Downtown Billings the best place that we can. That's the best place to live, the best place to work, the best place to come and play. And so we share a lot of that mission and that goal mindset, and we share a lot of the same staff. While Mehmet is the development director for the partnership, he also puts on his work hat to go and do Alive After 5 or to help with those events that we do as well. So there's really a lot of shared resources there, but each of those 4 organizations is completely different. We have the association, which is our membership organization. They really kind of do that business to business, like how do we connect one another downtown? How do we make businesses be successful, thrive, find the resources that they might need to do that? We have the Business Improvement District, which is a property owner managed group that pays an extra assessment to have clean and safe initiatives. So that's going to be like your flower baskets. The guys that are sweeping the sidewalks every day, they walk over 7 miles of sidewalk every day to sweep it. They pick up the trashes on 7 miles of sidewalk downtown. They'll plow the snow off the sidewalks if it's snowing. We do the flower baskets, and so they'll water 185 flower baskets almost every day in the summertime if it gets to be a certain temperature. So we're really working out there all day, every day. We also have the SAFE initiative, so we have 3 full-time police officers that are part of our team. They're in our office. They're at our staff meetings. They're really, sharing the mission that we have for downtown. All of our events are under the Business Improvement District. We also have the partnership, which, Mehmet, if you want to talk about what you do at the partnership, a completely separate mission and goal.
Absolutely, yeah. So we ultimately manage a fund on behalf of the city through a memorandum of understanding with the city too, and we're one of 3 in the downtown core area, and it's the urban renewal plan. There's a plan that informs the work that we do, and there's a financial tool known as tax increment financing, or often shortened to TIF, is what you probably hear us refer to. And that fund helps redevelop and develop downtown to keep it revitalized and renewed and progressing and evolving. But through that tool, we also look at business recruitment and retention and diversification and development as well. So we are in constant communication with our existing businesses, make sure, as Katy mentioned, they're thriving, they're succeeding, they're staying, they're happy. But then we're also looking at the vacancies that we have and how we can fill them creatively and what we are lacking and what would complement what exists. And then we're out and about looking for folks that can fill these vacancies. And then because of that work, we're in constant communications with the property owners and the landlords and the property managers and the agents that represent these entities.
And through that program, we also have an amazing program that we're partnering on, Battle the Plans. And that is to bring new businesses to fill some of those vacancies downtown. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that is a partnership between the Downtown Billings Partnership and the Downtown Billings Association. So bringing that feedback from the members and that voice from the members of what they want and what they want to see and what they are looking for, and then the partnership being able to help with the funding mechanism of that as a priority on the urban renewal plan and the strategic priorities that we advance every year and every day. And so the idea is that there is a series of, first, the applicants will present a business concept, and then they will take a series of courses and resources that will help them understand what it means to be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or a business owner. And then that journey will help them eventually build a business plan, which then they will pitch to a panel of judges, and then there will be 2 selected winners, a brand new business and an expanding business of something that already exists.
And that's been so fun to partner with Big Sky Economic Development and the Small Business Development Center to offer those classes. I mean,
absolutely.
For us, we talk a lot about how people don't know exactly what it is that the Downtown Billings Association does. But also, I think that you guys have a similar challenge
yes,
when it's
do.
like, what does Small Business Development Center does? They don't realize that those are free services, that you can access some amazing tools and resources if you have questions about business. And so this for us is just an opportunity to not only hopefully bring some really successful businesses to downtown through the plan, but also share that resource and that toolbox that exists both within your organization and with ours.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is at the end, there's only 2 winners, but everybody is set up for success in their business idea. And so I think that is a win for everybody as well, because they're learning about services that is available to them, but is hard for some reason, hard for us to get the word out, even though we
feel the same way.
Well, and one of those, the Battle of the Plans winners from the previous years was Linda with Something Chic. So if you're in Billings and you're like, oh, like what was a recent project winner? Something Chic was. I think she just had her 5-year anniversary, which is really exciting. Yeah. You also talked a little bit about TIF. Can you talk more about what TIF is?
Yeah.
And maybe some examples of people that have utilized TIF in downtown.
Absolutely, yeah. So TIF, in a nutshell, is it's a boundary in the downtown area. So there is a map, there is an outline of it, and as I mentioned, there's 3 of us. So there's another one east of us, and there's another one south of us. But essentially, these properties in that boundary pay property taxes, right? So these typically property taxes go to the taxing jurisdictions: the state, the county, the city, the school district. When you create a TIF district, essentially you divert some of these taxes that go to the taxing jurisdictions, and these funds are now put in a separate pot for a duration of time, and that fund now can get accessed by the same property owners or new ones as, hands change in ownership. And as long as they are working to continue to enhance that neighborhood, so the fund is going back into that neighborhood, then they're able to access that fund. Of course, that's the easy version of it. There is, a list of criteria and scoring mechanism,
details.
and a lot of details that you have to comply with. There's a city TIF policy. There's a state law that you have to comply with. But in a nutshell, that's how it works. And then when it sunsets, when the TIF district is expiring, then those allocated funds that were going in a separate pot will go back to the taxing jurisdiction. So it kind of works like a retirement fund for these taxing entities, so that hopefully when it's all said and done, the district is performing in a much better status than it was before the creation of the district. And therefore, these entities are able to provide the amenities and the services and the resources for the community.
That's awesome. What other services can people access through the TIF? So we talked about battle of the plans. Is there any other programs or assistance out there for these business owners to tap into?
Yeah, excellent question. And tying back to your question about the examples. So we have some small programs and we have some large programs. Some of the examples of the larger programs you might have seen is, for example, the Northern Hotel and the Billings Depot and the Empire Garage adjacent to the Northern Hotel. Some of the recent ones you've heard about recently, the Old Town Flats on 1st and 23rd, that is slated to be completed this summer. That's another TIF project. Which
is really exciting, I think. And I can't wait to talk more about this with you guys, but that project is activating a part of downtown right now that doesn't have housing. And it's really connected into Montana Avenue. It's right by Cushing Terrell, Buffalo Block, Chow Mambo's, the Depot. So just activating a different part of downtown. So it's really exciting.
Absolutely.
Well, it's really adjacent to some great services over there. Not only the restaurants and the Depot, but you're also adjacent to the, our local venues with music, live music. You also have, the pub station, you have Craft Local, you have
Thirsty Street
also right there. You also have, Bethany Joy Pilates. And so you have this real amazing neighborhood feel there, but no housing. And so hopefully the addition of housing in this neighborhood kind of activates it in a different way that you'll feel a little bit different as you walk down that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And then some of the smaller programs that we have a signage grant. So if you walk into Zest Kitchen, if you go into this House of Books, if you go to the Yarn Bar, if you go to Rock Creek Coffee, these signage, you'll notice they have prominent signs displayed, and a lot of these businesses have taken into this program and have participated into that program. Another smaller program we have is another one of these abbreviations we use is crime prevention through environmental design. And that's a grant that we offer for property owners who do improvements to their building to then discourage some of the negative activities that may occur otherwise around the premises. So they make security and safety enhancements and natural surveillance opportunities.
Which is such a cool program. And we did that. We really had a deep dive of that one, which is so valuable. I think we did it as Big Sky too, just on the corner, but we dive into that in episode 40 with Joe and Dan. So that one was a fun dive into with those two. Yeah.
You guys
they also refer to it SEPTED. So.
Yes, exactly. SEPTED. Yeah. And you guys, a great example, Big Sky participated in the SEPTED grant and the signage grant, and then in the facade grant, which is a facade restoration effort that we have through the TIF district too.
I think what's cool about the TIF program, and I think if I could tell anything to their community that would be listening who maybe is not super familiar with tax increment financing and a TIF grant itself, is that this isn't just free money. Like, it's not just a pot of money that's available to anybody out there to do anything that they want to. It is available to anybody out there who's developing in downtown Billings, and that's so cool to have that available. But there really are very intentional processes behind how we award these funds, and it also requires a match of funds. We don't just give the money without private dollars coming in right alongside of it. And so really, if it works the way that we intend it to, there's usually 5 private dollars for every 1 public dollar with the tax increment financing. And so to us, that is just this incentivization to get somebody to come in and invest themselves, to really put themselves into our community, put their money where their mouth is, if you will, and actually make things happen. And we're coming alongside them to try and make that a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I would also say that to our community that unless you own a property within the tax increment financing district, you're not paying $1 towards this program. This is not something that somebody on the West End or in the Heights is paying into at all. Because people get that idea when you hear tax, it's all of a sudden this very
it's a very triggering
topic.
word. Yeah.
But I think it's such a value add because like small businesses, even us, signs, like nice signage is not cheap. And so to have a little bit of offset so that you can really be proud of, like, when you look at the outside, especially of buildings that have multiple businesses within them, and you have that clear Zest sign, that Rock Creek.
So beautiful.
They're stunning. And I think it just is something for the business owner to be proud of, and an incentive that you guys offer as Downtown Billings to really cultivate that culture down here. So you talked about housing and some other things. What are some projects that you guys have done in the past 5-6 years that you've been at Downtown Billings that you're really proud of that you've worked on?
There's been so many really big scale projects. It's underneath the radar. Most people are really not aware of the change that we've seen happen over the last, say, 3 to 4 years in Downtown Billings. But we've seen a lot of change of ownership of buildings. And while that may not seem like that big of a deal, and it's not really something that you put out a press release for or anything like that, we're really seeing some significant changes happen because of that ownership change. And now we're seeing new owners come in who have a new revitalized interest in investing in Downtown Billings. And so, not to have anything against the people who've owned buildings for a long, long time, but what we were seeing was that these were in like family trusts, and like half the family lives in Florida and half the family lives in Northern California and half the family lives in Texas. And in order to get communication, you're going through lawyers and you're going through realtors, and it just wasn't happening. And so we have seen such a significant change in ownership of buildings. This building that you guys are in is a huge example of that. To have a new owner who comes in and says, we're going to make something really special here. The Symphony building.
So stunning.
All of these things that were before, nothing wrong with the building, but we didn't have owners who were really wanting to invest time, energy, money, just resources into this asset that we have downtown. So for me, though the community is probably not aware of most of those changes of ownership and new people who've come in, we have seen a significant turnover. And that has kind of, for me, what has sparked some of the cool changes that you've seen with new housing projects coming in, new art pieces that have come in, all of these little tiny pieces that just sort of add to the feel of a really vibrant downtown.
Absolutely, yeah. All of that. Plus, for me, also the excitement is in the shared vision of the priority of housing and retail. As I mentioned earlier, the eligibility for these TIF dollars often is informed by the urban renewal plan and its priorities. And so the folks or people wonder, how do we decide who do we award and who gets the money? That's what informs it, is these priorities and this plan. And housing has been a plan and a priority for us for many years, but now we're at a time in that same time frame where we're all singing the same song, all the partners, all the city, the county, and we're seeing the product of it too. When you have housing density in a neighborhood, that body of people, that body of humans are all people that are interested, invested in that neighborhood, have a sense of ownership, sense of pride. They have their eyes out the windows looking and checking who's going in and out. So that safety enhancement is there. But then some of them are employees in that same neighborhood. Some of them are shoppers in that same neighborhood. So then the businesses thrive as well as a result of that. And then the more you activate that ground level space with businesses, the more there's that connectivity and walkability and thriving ability that you experience in these high density neighborhoods and areas. And so we're now seeing that momentum and the fruit of that momentum. And we're hoping that this is the one that we won't be able to stop, which is a good thing. So
our answer to anything downtown is housing. Like, yes. If you ask us any question at all about downtown, our answer is going to be housing. If it's how do we make downtown safer? The answer is housing. Yeah. If you want to see more shops and stores to go to downtown, the answer, housing. Mm-hmm. If you want to see a more, active and vibrant downtown in general, how do you see that happen? Housing. Like the answer is just housing has to come first, and everything kind of follows it along. People, retailers are not going to follow, no residents in an area. You're not going to see that big shift of new retailers, new commercial shopping coming in until you start to see, people are living there. People are actually staying here for the 24 hours a day essentially. So that's really our answer to absolutely everything, is that housing needs to come first.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken with this number, and maybe it's a little bit higher, but it's like over 20,000 people commute into downtown every day for work. And like, there is housing, and you have some people living here, but that we know, and I know you guys know this, we know this in economic development, but a thriving community, really the heart of the community is in the downtown core. And I think Billings is so unique with how we're positioned and how our founders positioned us location wise of our downtown. It's 5 minutes, maybe 10. I think it's really like 5 to the airport. You have the medical corridor and all of that connectivity. And I know that's a big driver for you guys, is to really continue to cultivate and build a thriving downtown with the projects you're doing. I think the light bike trail through the BID, so the Billings Urban Renewal. So all these acronyms, but that's a huge project. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the light bike trail?
Sure. So we have a major goal in our organization year after year, is to really cultivate a strong public art program. And a couple years ago, we had a staff member who had this idea to do a mural and to put a bike with neon lights on the wall. And as our team did, we also find that our community is really a seeing is believing community. And we all were like, I don't understand. We don't get it. So we finally did this mural, and it went on the back of the pub station. So we as a team and a staff did this mural. We built this bicycle that is mounted to the wall, and it has neon lights on it, and it just looks fantastic. And so we said, man, wouldn't it be cool if we did a light bike trail, something that traveled through the alleyways of downtown Billings, and was something that it was unique, we were known for, it would draw people. Because what we found when we put this mural and this bike on the back of the pub station was that people were attracted to it. They were taking school photos, senior photos, prom pictures, wedding pictures, band photos, staff photos. All of these things were happening in this spot that otherwise nobody was going to, this dark, crummy, stinky, dirty alley. Nobody. Until we put this art piece in. And so we said, why don't we try and do a light bike trail all the way through? And so we ended up getting a grant through the Montana Department of Commerce, and a very generous grant for us to be able to finish the light bike trail. So currently we have 10 bikes and murals, brand new bikes, all the way through the alleys of downtown Billings. And so you can find the map for the light bike trail on our website, on our social media. There's plaques on every single mural and bike where you can find the map itself. And we find that it does a couple different things. One, they look cool. Most people don't know, they've never seen anything like this before. It also brought in some really amazing local artists who were able to do murals, some of them for the very first time. They weren't mural artists, and they did gorgeous murals. And so then we were able to put these bikes together. And so it looks cool. People are interested in it, and it provides public art, which is fantastic, but it also provides a huge sense of public safety in a way that most people don't recognize that public art can do that for a community. Now it's not only lit because of the neon light wheels, but it's also something where people are going to see it. People are spending time there for good reasons, to take photos, to see it, to wander through. Whereas before it was a dark alley that people would go to because you were hidden, people couldn't see you, you could do things that you weren't supposed to be doing. And now all of a sudden we have 10 locations in alleys that are safer, they're well lit, they're clean, and we don't have anybody tagging these murals. Yeah. So the graffiti is gone. We don't ever have to repair them. We have to do some work on the bikes, but this is something that we have found is pretty low investment, low cost to make a huge impact for downtown. So we're really proud of the light bike trail. We definitely recommend that people go and check it out. You can find all of that online.
I would also say that what a notch to your leadership in going, well, this is a really different idea. It's risky, but let's try it out. And so actually listening to team members' ideas and empowering them created such a huge impact in the community. So
thanks. I appreciate that. I have just such a great team with such great ideas, and really we're all willing to just throw noodles at the wall and see what sticks. And
I think it's
my favorite.
They're destinations. Really, I think you see one, and some of the newer ones that I haven't even seen all of them, the one on the back of the art house is so cool. But it's you hear about it or you see one in a photo and then you're like, where is that one? I have to go find it. And so you've really activated these alleys, and Septet has come in a little bit on some of those projects, like the pub station. So they've put backlighting on just to keep that safety component in there too. So what are some other programming that you guys have at Downtown Billings that we haven't really fully dove into yet?
I think the one I would add is our fourth nonprofit that we didn't mention is Community Innovations, and we're really leaning into kind of the social services world and how are we connecting with underserved populations in our downtown. We hear a lot of the time that downtown Billings isn't safe or people are scared to come down here. And when our businesses are telling us that and our community is telling us that, we really felt the need to go and find a way to hear that, to acknowledge that this is a concern that our community has. We need to be able to tell people that this is that downtown is safe and that we're really making efforts to continue to keep it that way. But what we're finding is that we do have a population of underserved individuals here, people who are living unhoused, people who are dealing with a mental health crisis, people who are dealing with substance use disorder. There's any number of things that people in our community are dealing with, and we're not taking the time as a community to really engage them in the way that they need to be. And so while it's not our lane exactly, we don't provide social services, we don't provide mental health services, we still felt the need to be able to address this challenge for our community, and not just to move people along and out of downtown, because that doesn't solve anything. How can we find a way to meet these individuals where they need and then find the services that are appropriate for them? How can we connect them to the crisis center or the rescue mission or the hospitals, whatever they might need in order to change their life? And so we do have a homeless outreach team. We call them the HOT team. We know it's redundant. Officially, they'd be the HO team, but that's not really where we want to go with that. So we call them.
I call it the HOT team too. I think.
I think it's the HOT team is the best choice there, and that's in partnership with Rimrock, and that is a team of peer support specialists. So these are individuals who are living successfully in recovery themselves, and they have gone through extensive training on peer-to-peer counseling, how to actually meet these individuals where they're at, and then they share kind of that lived experience with individuals where a lot of people don't have that experience of living with a mental health crisis or substance use disorder. But these individuals are just amazing. I can't speak highly enough about them. And so what they do is that they go out, they work as in a co-responder model with our police department, our officers that we have downtown.
And you can tell them by
the yellow shirts. Yep. You'll see them. They look like bumblebees out there, or they're
they
on
don't bicycles. Like to be called bumblebees, though.
Right, they don't. Yeah, they don't. But we'll continue to anyway. But you'll see them out riding their bikes, walking around. They're in their patrol car that has the special yellow branding on the side of it. But they work as a co-responder team with the peer support specialist, the homeless outreach team, trying to meet with individuals and say, what do you need? How can I help you? Is that treatment? Is that finding housing? Is that finding a driver's license so that they can get other services? Is it getting them hooked up with Medicaid so that they can get health care, mental health care, all of those things? And so we have found huge success through this program. It is really something where they've gotten dozens and dozens of individuals into treatment, into housing, and those people are not on the streets anymore. We've been able to track them consistently over the last 3 years that we've had the HOT team, and we are not seeing failure in those programs at this point, which is just such a testament to the hard work that they do. But I think it's an important piece that people need to hear about downtown is that there are things, we're not turning a blind eye to anything. We aren't just, glossing over the fact that there are individuals who are unhoused, or there are situations happening down here that people might feel really, really uncomfortable about. But we do want people to know that downtown is really safe, and that's partly because we do have 3 officers that are here from like 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. at night, 6 days a week. They're here. You can contact them. All of that information is on our website. We're trying our hardest to make sure that our community knows that you can get services if you need them. If you feel unsafe, you can contact an officer and get a direct contact to them. If you see an individual who needs help, we can give you the contact of the homeless outreach team, and then they can come and actually help this person find a better way for that day, for that night, for the rest of their lives. So I think that that's an important program that I'm really proud of, that most people aren't aware of. Because we're not a social service provider. That's not our lane. Most people know us for the flower baskets and Alive After 5 and Strawberry Festival. But this is something that we care deeply, deeply about, and it is a really important program for us.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just doing that for the membership in downtown, for the community as a whole, but also for those individuals that do need that help. and that you guys have seen that and you're like, we're going to step up and we're going to help provide some of these things, these connections and connectivity to help these people that are in need. And I think that that's such a value add that you guys are doing. And it's one of those things that goes unseen probably by a lot, but that you're doing that. And we're just really glad that you are doing that for the community. So thank you.
So you've mentioned some of these fun events that people are probably most aware of. Do you want to talk more about some of those signature events that you guys help put on or, well, completely put on?
Yeah, we have a really full event season. We do about 40 event days a year, and that includes, our First Fridays, and that includes all of our signature events. And it really is kind of an all hands on deck for the whole entire team to do that. We have an event director, Lexi Mann. She's fantastic. She does a great job. But she can't do it by herself. We all jump in, and I take off my CEO hat and I put on just my worker hat, as does Mehmet. And we just jump out there, and we're doing a Live After 5 starting on June 6th. So that runs every Thursday through the summer. We have Strawberry Festival, which is the second Saturday in July. We kind of finish that summer event season with Harvest Festival, which is the second Saturday in October. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the year, we have a couple other really great events happening. Obviously, we have the Holiday Parade, which is always the day after Christmas. That's one of my favorite events. We have the Holiday Stroll in December. We have the Mug Crawl, which highlights all of our coffee shops and all of them.
And those tickets sells out every time.
It sold out in like 4 hours this time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And you guys do the holiday, sorry to cut
I was going to say
yeah.
the holiday parade is the day after Thanksgiving.
Is that what I said? What did I say?
Christmas.
Oh, no, Thanksgiving, always after Thanksgiving.
And then you do the St. Patrick's Day parade
Right.
and downtown stuff too. And like that whole closure, which is a ton of fun.
And in June, the mini putt-putt golf tournament as well.
Oh yeah, was this your third year running the Father's Day like putt-putt golf or?
Yep, that's gotten to be a very, very popular. We have 36 businesses participate, put those holes out there. They build and design their own holes. You can put up a team of, anywhere from 2 to 6 people, I think. A really, really fun day to come spend downtown. Yeah. You can pop in and do lunch and do drinks, do whatever, and then jump back into the game. So it's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you talked a little bit about these 4 different nonprofit organizations and the boards. Who makes up these boards for you guys?
They're each different. Do you want to talk about the partnership board first?
So the partnership board, we've got 2 categories, actually 3. We have at-large members, which they term out after a couple of terms. And then you have representative members and you have partner members. The representative members are certain entities that when this board was created, it was decided that these representative entities are part of, for example, the 4 taxing jurisdictions that I mentioned. They're part of, they're essentially the recipient of these funds. Otherwise, if this district didn't exist. So they wanted to have their voice in the decision-making of the distribution of these funds, as well as also their ability and eligibility to access them. And then the partner representatives are other entities that we partner with a lot. So some of the other boards under the association and the Business Improvement District, but also the parking board from the city. Big Sky Economic Development has a seat. The Billings Cultural Partners has a seat. So that collectively, and then the at-large members can be business owners, can be property owners, can be downtown residents. They're essentially someone that brings a skill set that's beneficial for the board and has a vision for downtown and has a belief in that cause and that tool that we use for the partnership board.
Yeah, that's a big board. That's the largest one.
That sounds big.
Yeah, it is. The business
is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, the Business Improvement District is also prescriptive due to state statute, and so we have members who they must own properties within the Business Improvement District themselves or be a representative of that property. They then come in and they help us determine how do we assess the properties in order to put the programs in place, and then we spend a lot of time with strategic planning on how do we utilize these funds. Currently, we've really prioritized the public safety aspects, so our 3 officers. We've prioritized public art. We've prioritized making sure that the equipment that the bid team uses, four-wheelers, snow plows, all of those pieces. This year, we're prioritizing new trash cans. That's not particularly sexy. However, it is extremely important in downtown to have adequate trash cans around so that people can throw away their trash. And so those are kind of the goals that board will make. The Downtown Billings Association is made up of members. Mm-hmm. A member really can be anybody who just is an advocate and supporter of Downtown Billings. Generally speaking, it's business owners or residents of Downtown Billings, but it could be anybody, even outside of the district or somewhere far away. We also have really prioritized partnering with Rocky Mountain College and MSUB in order to try and make that connection between the universities and our downtown. Mm-hmm. And we would also prioritize in the future connecting our hospital leadership also in that board. Community Innovations, we're kind of in a phase of rebuilding that board right now. So I would throw that out here that anybody who has an interest in communicating with downtown businesses, with our police department, with our social service partners, if you have an interest in being a part of that conversation, how are we making downtown safe? How are we making downtown inclusive and responsive to the challenges that we face? That would be a board for you, and we are looking for new board members for that. Mm.
So let's say someone's listening and they maybe don't live here, they're newer to Billings and they haven't fully explored downtown, what do you suggest they definitely check out? And I know that would probably be different for each one of us sitting here today of what we would say, like shopping or concerts or whatever, but what would you guys say?
Well, yeah, definitely check out all the downtown businesses and to help you guide that conversation, because maybe you don't know where to start. We're a grid in our downtown. And so start by following us on social media, start by checking out our website. We have a calendar of events on our website. If you scroll to the bottom of the first page, there is an email newsletter sign-up subscription that you can do where you can get all the news and all all the happenings on a monthly basis.
So you can get your mug crawl tickets right when they come out.
Exactly.
They literally sell out. Like, it's insane.
Last one sold out in 4 hours.
Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, that would be the recommendation. And also, of course, don't be afraid to come and visit us in person. So
I think if I were going to say what's like the perfect day in downtown Billings, I would start with coming downtown. You can park on the street, and the metered parking is very cheap, but use the app, the downtown parking app.
That's
use
a good recommendation.
What's it called?
And you don't even have to download the app.
Yeah.
You can just go, I do it right through the web browser, and it saves my stuff. So it's super simple. I just have to get the 2 numbers off the meter.
What was the name of it again?
Pay by phone.
Pay by phone. Yep. So use the app to park downtown. That's like the first thing you want to do.
For the weekdays, but other weekends it's free.
If you're after 5 p.m., if you are on the weekends, free parking.
Wow.
Absolutely take advantage of that. One of the big complaints we get is no parking, and there is a lot of parking in downtown Billings.
Tell us how many spots.
There's something, we just did the count before the last thing. And so what was the number that you gave me?
Over 12,000.
Over 12,000 parking spots.
Yeah. And that's between on-street and off-street, publicly owned, privately owned, signed or not. I mean, you have a lot.
There's a lot of parking garages. And I just would say, like, if anyone has not traveled, but if you travel, you know how like expensive like downtown Denver parking is for an hour or 2 hours, and ours for a day is so reasonable.
So reasonable.
But we're parking downtown.
Yes. So you're parking downtown. I would go to the Yesteryear's Antique Mall and I would wander around there for a while. They just had moved into a new location, but it's so much fun. You'll find something that you never knew you needed. So wander around the Yesteryear's Antique Mall. Then I would go to dinner. I would go find a great place for dinner. We have so many choices. I can't pick one on this because I can't play favorites.
Like James Beard nominated.
Like depending on your mood, right? Like
Yeah.
what you're feeling. There's different ones for those.
Absolutely. And so we now have like 4 Mediterranean restaurants downtown. Where before we maybe only had one. So Mehmet's super stoked on that one. So pick a great restaurant, go to dinner. Then I would go and see a show at the Alberta Bear Theater. They just had an amazing remodel, millions and millions of dollars. It looks so good. And I recently just had my aunt and uncle who live in Fort Collins, Colorado, actually come up to visit me and to go see a show. And it was just so much fun to go into this beautiful venue with visitors from out of town. And, Fort Collins is also a really fun town. But they were like, "Oh, your downtown is so vibrant. It's so clean. It's so this is just so nice. Like there's so much to see and do." So I would go to the Alberta Bear Theater for a show. Then I would go to the Big Dipper for ice cream before heading home.
I love it.
That's my perfect night.
I do want to say, because we walk through an alley to get to our parking garage. We seriously have the cleanest alleys. I mean, we really do. Like, and they're hosed off like every once in a while. And I'm like, oh my God, like we're so lucky to have very clean alleys, because that's not the case anywhere else.
We did the Earth Day cleanup, the A&E.
Oh,
so that's really fun. But I think it's a compliment to the bid team and you guys, because honestly, we didn't pick up that much trash.
They work really hard.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, so we're out there picking up like random things that, blow out of vehicles, but it's like, we didn't have bags and bags of trash be anywhere, because we did like the far over by Tiny's kind of area, and it was like not a lot.
Yeah.
So
I would say if you see the bid team out doing their job,
great work.
like give them a high five, tell them they're doing a great job, because they do work their butts off, and they walk 7 miles a day each on that. So it's a lot of miles and a lot of bags of trash that they pick up, and so they do a great job. And I would say for anybody who hasn't been downtown for say the last like 5 or 6 years, you really, really should just come and check it out. There's so much new happening. There's new stores to check out. There's new restaurants. There's new activities. And it just has changed visually, and it will continue to change visually. And so if people are still afraid and they think that downtown is not a great place to be, I just say, hey, come and check it out. Come try it out. Check out the website, like Mehmet said, and there's something for everybody to do.
Yeah.
Just have a question for people that maybe want to get connected within the community. Would you say volunteering with one of your events would be a great way for them to get a feel of what downtown has to offer, but also make connections within the community?
Absolutely. There's so many volunteer opportunities. If you wanted to serve on a board is a great volunteer opportunity. But if you also just want to come out and do one of the really fun events that we do, we always need just extra hands, and they're always a good time. The shifts that we assign our volunteers are never like a full day. It's just something to come out and like check out the event from a different point of view. Come meet your community. Come just be out there. We usually reward them with, nice treats during the day while you're there. So please come out and
that's a great incentive.
Right? Yeah. At Alive After 5, I'll buy you a drink. At Strawberry Festival, I'll get you a t-shirt, whatever that might be.
And one of your jobs could be handing out strawberry cake. I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to spoil our volunteers, and we want to make sure that they come back because, and we do, in some events, they're very heavy lift on the volunteer side of things. So
what are some things you guys are working on right now that you're really, really excited about from like a downtown development standpoint?
Give us the scoop.
I think you guys have a lot of good things. And I would say too, before I let you get into that, we work together all the time with you guys in different capacities all the time. And I think something super unique about Billings, and we appreciate you guys, is all of the collaboration that our organizations do to really get things done in the community. So what are some cool things you guys have in the queue?
Yeah, I mean, and a couple of years ago, again, like we got a collection of projects approved that will, once they're complete, they're producing over 114 units, residential units of various sizes and various prices. And then we're looking forward to another project that will hopefully soon will become more public with a lot more details that will yield another 120 units. And then one project that also became public as of March is that we're getting a new hotel in our downtown area, which is something that hasn't been built in downtown for 45 years.
Wow.
And so, and specifically in the central business district.
We're really excited because they're going to be our neighbors.
Rooftop bar. I'm super thrilled.
Yeah, rooftop
I'm like
patio.
Happy hour.
Yes, please.
Or rooftop. Patio. Yeah.
We were like, won't you be my neighbor?
I'll just be right there. We can like throw a little stone at them.
Right. Yeah.
Happily.
We're also seeing a decline in, which is a good decline in one of the rare occasions, but we're also seeing a decline in ground level vacancies. We're under 20 right now in the entirety of the central business district. And especially the smaller spaces. The smaller spaces go very quickly. And so we're excited about that, and we're looking forward to the day where we don't have any ground level vacancies, and then we can focus on the next challenge and what that might be. And then I don't know if we're ready to share maybe some details about our RFP. That is also a partnership between the Downtown Billings Partnership and the Downtown Billings Association. But we're also gearing up to release a request for proposal, another abbreviation.
We love acronyms.
Right?
Alphabet soup.
Yes. To help us and guide us in some marketing efforts and PR efforts about the downtown as a destination. And as we mentioned earlier, with some of these perceptions, changing these perceptions, inviting people over, shouting from the rooftops about what we have, and celebrating and promoting everything that we offer. So in the downtown area.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. The project that Mehmet talked about that, we've talked, it's out there, the Futurity Tower being the project that's going to bring 120 housing units to downtown. Obviously, that's a huge, huge project for the developer, and it'll take some time to get there. But as most people have probably seen, we've moved into that building, the old Yesteryear's Antiques building, as the DBA team. And so we're going to be living there for a short period of time, but we also are currently in the process of looking for a new home for the DBA. And we're not sure exactly what that looks like and where that's going to be, but that's a huge project. And I'm really excited to bring our team into a permanent home, as you guys probably were, to join and, to come into this building. There's kind of a feeling of, you've made it when you have like a permanent, really beautiful home.
Here.
And I think that the DBA team really deserves that, to have that kind of recognition of a team that is really to be reckoned with as far as what is movers and shakers in Billings. And I really want that to happen with our new home, and find something that's really just, suits this incredibly diverse skill, talent, and, pool that we have at the DBA team. They're just the most incredible team, and I want them to be showcased in a really great space. And so that'll be something that we're looking at. But then you'll see a new development in that space, and it'll really change the skyline and the landscape, literally, of downtown Billings. And so exciting to see these things happen as you see this new hotel come in, as you see this new development, as you see some of these other housing projects that are in the works and ready to kind of be online. I think that this is just the start of what's going to get the ball rolling for some pieces that have been in the works for a very, very long time. Even before Mehmet and I's time with the DBA, some of these projects have been being pushed up this hill. And I just feel really strongly that we're like getting ready to crest that hill, and it'll pick up pace, and it'll pick up momentum, and pick up around it, and you'll see some things happen. If you haven't had the chance to go in and check out Music Villa downtown.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah,
which
not only
is so excited about, so excited.
It's a gorgeous building, and I'm not a musician. Like, I have zero business going in there and like looking at guitars, because I'm like, I don't know.
But I want to go in.
I like the purple
I'm a toucher though, so I have to be super careful.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend going in there and meeting the owners and hearing from them, why did you pick Downtown Billings? Like, it's not the thing that most people are saying, oh, well, who's going to downtown? Well, there are some really, really significant people who are wanting to come and move into downtown, start businesses. That's just one example. Go and talk to any one of our small businesses down here and ask them why downtown. And you'll get great answers, and you'll get all the reasons why they think it's important. And that's the kind of energy, and that's the kind of just investment that we're so excited to see, because I think that's what brings everybody else alongside. The more we can get that out, the better.
Absolutely. And I will say that the community of the downtown businesses, it's not competition. I mean, they're all there supporting one another and building each other up. And I think that's what makes the downtown businesses so special, is because they're here. I mean, even if you have we have 3 or 4 clothing stores in a line with each other. They're all there supporting each other. They're all recommending, hey, you can't find that here, but maybe you'll find that over there, and so it's just great to see that kind of healthy business attitude and environment. And that's really how these communities thrive.
Yeah, we say more is more. I mean, abundance for us downtown builds abundance. There's nothing to us that there's competitive about that. It really, we don't see that one business coming in is going to put a similar business out of order. It doesn't work that way. The more is more.
Yeah.
And I think something that you touched on a little bit, but I'm really excited to see you guys find that more forever permanent home, because I think for us, and just speaking from our experience, it's so nice to be in a building that reflects the work that we do on behalf of the community, that we get to do on behalf of the community. And so for you guys, I feel like that's going to be the same. And I'm like so excited, because you guys have such a fun team energy. You see that at the events you're doing, it is all hands on deck, and you're there supporting each other. So to find that space that complements your culture, I'm thrilled and can't wait to see what that is.
And you're having fun doing it too.
It looks fun. I'm sure some of those moments you're like, oh God, this is so early or late, but
it gets you off the desk.
It. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Well, it's been so fun to have you guys here with us, and we're going to jump into some rapid fire questions. But before that, we're going to hear a quick message from a sponsor.
Hi, this is Shannon Hahn with the Department of Transportation in the Small Business Program. I'm here to talk to you today about the DBE and the SBE programs. The DBE program is for disadvantaged small businesses, so that's minority and women, and the SBE program is for non-minority and non-women-owned businesses. These programs provide business assistance to contribute to the growth and self-sufficiency of businesses in the transportation industry. Services include business skills development, training, networking opportunities, bonding assistance, and much, much more. So if you're a highway-related business, please go to our website. You'll see what the eligibility criteria is at mdt.mt.gov. You can call our 1-800 number, which is 800-883-5811. So give us a call. Thanks.
Thank you guys for joining us. So my first rapid fire question for you is, what's one of your favorite things about living in Billings?
I can go first.
Rapid.
Yeah. They're rapid, but they're deep.
For me, it's the size. I still remember to this day, the day I was picked up was August 27th, 2006, and I was taken to the rims, and I was shown and told that this is the city. This is it, plus the area behind us known as the Heights. That's what the supervisor at the time was trying to tamp down my expectations, because I came from a city of 7 million people.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And I was told, researchability was limited still in Iraq at the time with the internet and everything. But I was told I was coming to the largest city, not knowing the population number.
What that meant in Montana.
Right. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine. But when he came, he was preparing me to not be shocked. I was impressed by what I was seeing, because all I remember from that moment is the serenity around me.
Yeah.
I didn't know
the
that lifestyle existed. I was living in go, 7 million people constantly, competing against one another and not knowing many people around you, because again, how do you get to know everyone? And so that's what I enjoy about it, is just that lifestyle that I get to be a part of.
It's a special story.
I love that.
I love the potential that Billings has. I feel like we're right on the possibilities. We as leaders in this community, as young leaders in this community, are poised and given the task and the responsibility of framing what Billings is going to look like in 5, 10, 20, 50 years. We may not be here to see what that happens, but the choices that we're making today, the investments that we're making, personally and professionally in this community, are what frames what the future is for Billings and for downtown. I can't wait to see what happens in another 5 years down here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. My question is, what is something most people don't know about the Downtown Billings Alliance?
Ooh.
Oh, there's so many things. I feel like there's just so much to it. It's just, there is literally, we have 4 completely separate organizations, 4 completely separate boards of directors. All of that to me is an unknown for most of our community that we're doing that. It's very apparent that we do, events. It's very apparent that we put the flower baskets up, but it is not apparent that we're out there putting in public art programs. It's not apparent that we're buying new trash cans. It's not apparent that we're out there writing for, giving grants for new economic development projects. There's just so much to it. And I think there's something that could interest anybody in the entire world to find something that would be a cool thing that we do. Mm-hmm. It just is a very cool organization. And we have 5 dogs in our office.
Ooh, there we go.
I did like when the kittens visited.
Oh, we have to do that again.
Yeah, that was fun.
Baby goat yoga?
Okay.
Ooh,
I'll say,
yeah.
New events.
See what I'm saying? Like, you guys do fun things, which I really love.
Yeah, I would echo that too, and I would say just the nature of the position itself and how different it is every day. Because again, I mean, I'm on my 5th year, and I'm still every day learning something new, and or going about doing something differently or meeting someone new. Like in this podcast itself, I just learned from you that I could use the pay by phone website instead of the app. I've use the app
You're
myself.
welcome.
So yeah. So to me, there's always, like Katy was saying, there's always something that people may not know, that we're behind the scenes doing this or putting this on, or that we're helping with these businesses, or that we're helping with these plans and these interviews and these articles that are coming out. And so it's great.
You guys are doing really cool things. I learned that I still like to play the quarter game, so I'll be getting I like to live on the edge.
Did you know
like
also
a parking ticket from Bruce? I don't know.
Did you know we still also sell the tokens?
Yes, I love
tokens.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the credit card too. So I do need to get the app, but just side note, you guys have the credit card. I don't know what that's called for the parking meters, and that's so helpful because that's probably what I use the most. But anyways, enough about that. This one, I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. What's some of the best advice that you've ever received?
Oh,
rapid but deep.
But deep.
We like to get really deep in these rapid fire questions.
I know. Yeah.
I think for me, like, confidence is what you have to just, you put it on like a shirt, you put it on like a hat, you put it on like a pair of pants. That you have to just believe that you're going in with the best intentions, that you have the skill set. If you don't have the skill set, you have the skills to learn how to make it happen and to go into any room. I have worked as a female in a lot of male-driven industries, construction being the biggest one of them. And oftentimes I'm still going into rooms that are mostly male-dominated, and to walk in there and say, I know what I'm doing, and I should hold myself and carry myself and speak as if I know exactly what I'm doing. And it comes to find out that 9 times out of 10, I do know what I'm doing. And I do have something valuable to bring to the table and something valuable to say. So confidence, wear it like a shirt, put it on every morning.
I really like that.
Nice.
Confidence, wear it like a shirt. I like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
How do I top that?
I don't know. This was a good one.
It's not a really good.
You do have a cool shirt on today.
Yes. That's your confidence shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good color combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A line that I learned from one of our local leaders too. I don't know if he's comfortable with me putting his name out there, but it's hard to learn when you already know. And so with that, I try to remind myself every time when I enter into a conversation to listen and not try to anticipate where the conversation is going or try to finish the other person's sentence, because sometimes we do that thinking that would show we're listening or that we know what they're talking about. But maybe instead of saying, tell me more, because that might uncover something that I wasn't anticipating or a blind spot that I totally missed. And again, the line goes like, if you already know, you're not going to be open to learning or listening. And so just always try to anticipate that or be mindful of that, because it's sometimes it's a trap. We just fall into it and then forget or not remember or not be intentional about our decisions. So that's one
that's really valuable.
Two sides of both coins. Go in like you know it, and then also go in like you have more to learn.
Fake it till you make it.
I think they're both really great. Well, thank you guys for being here with us today. Where can people connect with you, find you? You said it a little bit earlier in the episode, but just so that people can go and connect, where can they find you?
Yeah, so downtownbillings.com is our website, and 102 North 29th Street is our address. And then on social media, you'll find us under Downtown Billings as well.
Yeah, check it out. You're going to find the directory to all of the good things that are happening downtown, both on the events calendar, the directory for all of our downtown businesses, all of the things that are happening and how you can get engaged. The website's probably the best way to do that. But if you have any ideas, if you have anything that you want to talk about for downtown, don't hesitate to reach out to us. To us, there really are no stupid ideas. Let's throw the noodle at the wall, see if it sticks, and we'll make it happen. But we're here to work for the community. That's, I think, what people need to know, is that we're here just to make life better for you guys down here. So
thank
let
you
us know
guys.
what we can do.
We
Thanks so
appreciate
much.
all that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Make sure you are subscribed to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, wherever you podcast, including YouTube.
Connect with us on Facebook at The Vault at 201 North Broadway and Instagram at The Vault_201.
Don't forget to visit us at thevault@201.com and subscribe to our newsletter.
We will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The Small Business Development Center offers free personalized support from business plans to financial projections and beyond, empowering small businesses to thrive. Reach out to us at bigsky economic development.org.